Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In life, there are people who, after only a few encounters, already make us feel that they are approachable and trustworthy. But there are also people who appear kind, polite, and even very skillful on the outside, only for us to realize, after spending more time with them, that who they truly are is completely different from what they first showed us. People are never easy to understand, but if we know how to observe, we can still get a sense of a person's character, mindset, and even their true intentions through their eyes, their smile, their presence, and the way they treat the people around them. So, in today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 ways to see through a person by their outward appearance. Not to judge others, but to help us understand people better, stay more aware, and know how to protect ourselves in relationships. If you find content like this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to support the channel. And now, let's get started. Look into their eyes when they speak. People often say that the eyes are the hardest part of a person to lie with. Someone who is sincere and straightforward usually has a steady and clear gaze without constantly looking away. When they speak, they make the other person feel comfortable, calm, and able to trust them. On the other hand, if someone constantly shifts their eyes, avoids eye contact, or seems unsteady in the way they look at others, there is a good chance that something inside them is not entirely genuine. It could be anxiety, concealment, or simply the fear of showing who they truly are. Of course, not everyone who avoids eye contact is a bad person. Some people are simply shy or insecure. But if you combine the eyes with their tone of voice, attitude, and reactions in different situations, you'll realize that the eyes often reveal far more than words. 2. Observe the smile, because a fake smile is hard to hide. A genuine smile is not just about the lips. It also shows in the eyes, the facial muscles, and the overall energy a person gives off. When someone smiles sincerely, you can feel a sense of warmth, softness, and natural ease. A fake smile, however, usually stops at the mouth. They smile, but their eyes remain cold. They smile, but their face never truly relaxes. It may be a polite smile, a smile used to hide real emotions, or a smile meant to create a kind and harmless image in front of others. Sometimes, simply watching how a person smiles when they see someone else struggling, when an argument happens, or when they hear about another person's pain can tell you whether they are compassionate or emotionally cold. There is nothing wrong with smiling, of course, but the way a person smiles in different situations can reveal a great deal about their character. 3. Pay attention to posture, the way they sit, and body language. The body often reacts honestly to what is happening inside. A person who is open, decent, and comfortable with themselves usually stands upright, keeps their shoulders open, and moves in a way that feels firm but not tense. They do not need to force themselves to look superior, nor do they need to put on a performance just to impress others. By contrast, someone who is always defensive, calculating, or internally insecure often shows it through closed body language, folded arms, withdrawn posture, avoidance, or sitting as if they are constantly guarding themselves against something. There are people who speak beautifully and act very friendly, yet their body language still gives off a sense of distance, coldness, and insincerity. Body language is not always 100% accurate, but it is often one of the earliest signs that tells us whether someone is comfortable, sincere, or trying to hide something. 4. Notice how they take care of their own appearance. This is not about beauty or ugliness, wealth or poverty, expensive clothes or simple ones. What matters is neatness, refinement, and the attitude they have toward themselves. A person who takes care of their appearance in a clean, balanced, and thoughtful way is often someone who respects themselves and also respects the people around them. Then there are people who look polished and impressive on the outside, but everything about them feels overly performative, always trying to prove themselves, attract attention, and make sure everyone notices them. Sometimes that glamorous appearance is not confidence at all, but a way to hide emptiness or insecurity inside. Appearance does not completely determine character, but it can reflect how a person sees their own value and how they want to present themselves to the world. People who are genuine usually do not need to show off too much. And sometimes, the more someone builds a mask, the more they are trying to hide something underneath. 5. Watch how they treat those who are weaker than them. This is probably the clearest sign of all. A person may be polite to their superiors, kind to people who can benefit them, and very charming in public. But pay attention to how they speak to service workers, the elderly, children, poor laborers, or anyone who cannot offer them anything in return. If someone is only kind when it is useful, only respectful to those with power, but turns around and looks down on people who are weaker than them, then that polite exterior is really nothing more than a thin layer of paint. A person's true character often reveals itself most clearly when they stand in front of people who cannot fight back or bring them any benefit. If you want to know whether someone is truly a good person, do not just listen to how they talk about morality. Look at how they treat those who are smaller, weaker, or lower in status than they are. Because real kindness does not live in beautiful words. It lives in the way a person treats other human beings. Reading people through their outward appearance is not about distrusting everyone, and it is certainly not about rushing to judge someone after only a few encounters. But in a world where anyone can put on a mask, learning how to observe can help us stay more clear-headed, less naive, and better protected from unnecessary hurt. Remember this: clothes can look beautiful, words can sound convincing, and smiles can be fake. But the eyes, a person's presence, and the way they treat others are much harder to fake for long. If you want to understand someone, do not only listen to what they say. Watch how they show up, how they react, and how they live among the people around them. Because sometimes outward appearance is not just something to be seen. It is also where the inner self quietly reveals itself. And what about you? Do you agree with these 5 ways of reading people? Or do you think there are other signs that make it easier to recognize someone's true nature? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments so we can talk about it together. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.